This is Carolyn, as always, and we are on day 10, a nice round number, time to reflect and rejoice. Again, I'm so proud of you. If you have written the 45 pages or if you've written 5 pages or 5 paragraphs, again, I'm so proud of you. Many times when we turn the act from 1 to 2, this is a resistance point for writers, and sometimes your internal critic really gets to kick in because this is really a book. You finished a first act, and that's a big deal. And so if you are struggling, if you're feeling more and more resistance, first of all, make sure to take your days off. On average, you should be writing 5 out of 7 days, and you may just be burning out. This may just be too much for you, and you may be struggling to think of ideas because you're not allowing the rest to allow your subconscious to come up with new things. You may also be exhibiting some physical symptoms, so go and listen to the fear, internal critic, and affirmations modules. If you need to listen to affirmation modules every day before you begin your day, even with this or after this, go ahead. It's fine. That's what they're there for. Trust me, I've spent so much time away from the keyboard in fear and pain and struggle. I don't want you to have to suffer the same thing. So I am here to tell you you can take time off. I'm here to tell you you can listen to affirmations. I'm here to tell you that yes, in fact, you can mute your inner critic. And that's what really needs to happen if you're struggling to put your fingers on the keyboard to get words on the page. All right, today hopefully is 45 to 50. Super duper congratulations if you're there. This is a nice feat. You're about to end your very first act 1, or if you've written other books, that's okay. Your first act with me at the least. All right, what are these pages about? They are about absolutely. Now, if you still feel like you need to beat your hero up some more, you can use these 5 pages to beat your hero up. That is fine. Or these 5 pages can be the last of the beating and pulling the trigger on the event that catapults the hero into the new life. Neo being arrested, Luke's aunt and uncle being killed, Dwight telling Vince Vaughn's character that he's going to buy his gym. Those are all the things that would move you from one to the other. Ripley, it was the dream. It was the violent dream with the alien. She decides that it's better to go face the aliens than to have them in her nightmares, constantly ruining her life. Because again, the life needs to be ruined. This old life is no longer workable. You have pushed the hero to the point where he is just bloody and bruised, and the old life doesn't fit. It's actively aggressive towards him, and he needs to get out. What that event is up to you. This is one of the beautiful things. I can tell you, you need to pull the trigger on the event that moves him from act 1 to act 2. That is your choice though, but think big. Think important. This is a mini climax. If the 10 pulls a mini climax, this is the mini. Everything you're writing and every big moment like this is giving your reader a roadmap to how you're going to finish the book. If you don't pull this off well, and you may not, and you know what? That is okay. I never want you to think, oh, if I don't pull it off, I suck and I'm a bad writer. Never, ever, ever, ever do I want you to think that. I'm just saying, if you don't pull the opportunity off in this catapulting and don't make it interesting and energetic and entertaining, then many people will stop reading here. If you have not hooked them completely, they will stop reading if you don't turn the act well, because they think, well, how, if you can't turn act 1 to act 2, how are they going to turn act 2 to act 3, which is the darkest hour and the climax and all the excitement? So you really need to give a little bit of a preview of how you can pull off some really interesting risks and stakes, tension and conflict. So really make this fun. Go big. I can't tell you how big to go because you can go bigger, okay? Really. Now, if you're like, wow, I'm not prepared for this whatsoever, take a day off, think about it. Go watch some of your favorite movies, queue up to about a quarter of the way through the movie, and see what they do. Just go and look at a bunch, not just 1 or 2. Go look at 10 if you're stuck, if you're stalled here, if you're not quite sure what you want to do, and just let that flow through you. I don't want you to copy anything or be derivative. I just want you to get inspired. Oh, because usually if you see something, you're going to start to think about your own story, because of course your own story is way more interesting to you than any other story, and start to think of different ways that you may not have thought of before to turn that act and to make it as interesting as possible. Of course, in Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger finds the village that he was supposed to save, the CIA agent, slaughtered. There goes his old life, there goes his old mission, and now we have a whole new set of problems. Right? That is an action flick, so that turn of the act is pretty violent. So be thinking of your genre. If you are in a soft Regency, then your turn is not going to be as violent. It is going to be interesting. Do they get evicted from the house? Let's say Sense and Sensibility. They physically are evicted from their house. Now they stay, they cling, right? They could have left, but they cling to their old life until the sister-in-law moves in and really just makes life hell. They have to go. And then finding out that there is no way that Hugh Grant can ever marry Emma Thompson catapults them into their new life. So in its own way, that was violent. How the sister-in-law tells the mom, my brother will never marry your daughter and I will make kind of life hell for you if you go that way. That's kind of mean. That's a mean girl thing. And that pushes the mother to decide, okay, it's time to go. And then, of course, it's even more so that Hugh Grant has to go, that at the same time he gets called back to London because his sister is manipulating things. So that just helps force everyone into the new life. So see how that was a Regency romance and the heroes were still forced into the new life. They are forced to accept the new life and the opportunity because that is the way it is. That is the way it was since Regency time. It's the way it is now. The more violent your genre, the more violent your climax, the more violent your catapulting from Act 1 to Act 2 should be. And that is basically what you should be writing today. Tomorrow, your next 5 pages will be writing the meat of it. This usually does take 10 to 15 pages to transition from Act 1 to Act 2. And that is fantastic. Gives you room to really explore and have fun. And you really should be having fun. Again, if you're in a zombie, eating people is fun. That is what the reader's reading it for. So have fun. I know it sounds really weird to have fun killing people, but I really do. I have fun on the page thinking of ways to kill people, making it super interesting and shocking and entertaining so that they want to continue to read through. Again, if you are, oh my gosh, this is so boring. Okay. All right. So what? I'm going to say so what so many times to you. It's not even funny. So what? You wrote a boring Act 1 to Act 2 turn. It was your first one, or maybe it's your third one. I don't know, and I don't care. You've just identified that as something you would like to work on. So maybe next time, next book, you will be thinking about this turn first before anything else, so you make sure you have plenty of time to come up with something really special and cool and fun. If you have written something interesting, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. We are finally getting out of the old life and catapulting, beating the crap out of your hero and throwing his body over the ledge so he can go into his new life. Page 45 to 50, and by 50 we really should be out of the old life, so be planning on that. And the next 5 pages we may be just following up to that, but let's try and get your hero out of the old life into the new. Woohoo!